Welcome to day 18, the first day in which I do not talk about money psychology extensively. And not really, I'm going to kind of talk about it anyway because I want to. So today we're going to talk about counting the costs. All of the dreams that you have and all of the stuff that you think that you want that costs an amount of money, somebody else is already experiencing that. That's how you know that it exists. When you look at those big mansions and you think, wow, I want one of those, be aware that somebody else is living in one of those, and they're showing you that it's possible. They're showing you that it can be done. And the first step to doing it is to kind of understand, well, what's it going to cost you? What's it going to take? A really powerful exercise that Katharina and I both do is when we decide that when we see something that we like, that we think that we would enjoy, we actually go and see what it would cost in monetary terms. So for example, a few days ago we went and visited Spitting Cave, which is this beautiful, beautiful cave in Oahu, and the water comes in and then it shoots out at like 100 feet or 100 feet up into the air. And overlooking these beautiful cliffs are these really nice beach houses, except that there's no beach, there's just a cliff, so it's more of a cliff house. And Katharina and I talked about it, and she said, well, the reason I want to live in a beach house is because I want to see the ocean. And I said, well, the reason that I want to live up in the mountains is because I like to be high in altitude, and it's inspiring to me. And we said, well, why don't we look at a beach, at one of these cliff houses then? So when I came home, I loaded up the real estate website, and I found that these cliff houses cost between $5 and $20 million. It takes between $5 and $20 million to live in one. That didn't discourage me, because I believe in infinite possibility, and I believe that there is absolutely a time period in which I can have $5 to $20 million to spend on one of these. Not because I'm any different or any better than anybody else, but because I am exactly the same as everybody else, and there are some everybody else's who are currently living in those homes. And since I'm the same as them, I can have what they have if I do what they did. And the first thing that they did was they figured out how much it was going to cost them to live in one of those homes. It's really, really that simple. So if there's anything that you desire that costs money, find out exactly what it costs. Even if it's like ridiculously extravagant, because I think you're going to find that there really isn't anything in the whole world that is as ridiculously extravagantly expensive as you think it is. For example, a lot of people, including myself, want to fly around in a private jet. It's like a hallmark of the rich. Fly around in a private jet. Well, what would it really cost to fly around in one of those? Some other people are doing it, which means that they know what it costs. So one day I just sort of did the research. I'm like, well, if I want to fly around in a private jet, what's it really going to cost me? So that I know when I get that amount of money, I can revisit this desire and then decide if I want to spend the amount of money on it. And I've discovered that it really wouldn't cost a lot. It would cost approximately $10,000 a month to fly for around 20 hours a year on a private jet. And 20 hours a year is about as much flying as I do. So I'm like, $120,000 for a year of private jet travel of all the travel that I do, which is not a lot. That's not bad. Yes, that's a lot more expensive than the $350 round trip coach class ticket that I currently have. But the fact is that it's not the multi-million dollars that I thought it was either. It's $120,000. It is an achievable dream to anybody. Like a small business owner could afford that. It's not that big of a deal. And yet, before I knew what it cost, it intimidated me so much that I didn't even want to go ask. And once I started to ask around, I realized, I'm like, oh, that's how these people are all affording it, because it's not as expensive as I think it is. So, if there's something that you want, and you believe that you're going to buy this thing with money instead of figure out a different way of getting it, start by figuring out how much money it costs. So today, what I want you to do is go back over your list of things that you want and take the one that you think is the most expensive and then figure out what it really costs and then stick it down in the comments. All right, I'm going to do the same exact thing about our cliff house. Talk to you guys tomorrow.